should we do a little walk and talk? Welcome to Bor Barish in Israel, by the way. I never get tired of coming here. The walk and talk about men and women. It's like one of my favourite subjects at the moment when it comes to dating and to the modern woman, and what is actually happening and why globally birth rates are going down massively, marriages are reducing massively, men don't want to get married, and the whole way that we're connecting with each other or failing to, like with hookup culture. And I think there's just such huge misunderstanding and exploitation of both, and it's by those with money and power, and they're just exploiting us, and they're actually reducing our rights and to procreate all at our expense. So it's all about manipulation and control and making the most out of us, And there's some really interesting that I've kind of really got my head into recently around, peak desirability of men and women. Like I heard this phrase the other day, like men age like fine wine and women age like milk. And I guess it's kind of true, right? Because women are at their peak desirability and have their peak options at like 18 to 25, and for men it's like completely different. It's like late 30s, 40s plus 50s, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of borne out, right? Especially like with women, young women, let's just talk about young women, like the ages of like 18 to 25 that use all these different apps. So what you have is the 80%, like let's say the woman's like a 4 or above, 80% of women going for the top 10 to 15% of men, right? And wondering why they can't find the right man. So these standards are so high, whereas for the men it's the other way around. It's like for a man on a dating app, if you're like a 4 or above, that will do, thanks. Because what am I looking for as an animal in my base nature, which is, where most people are coming from on those apps. It's like, what's the best I can get? And a man's mindset is very different to a woman's, generally speaking, right, until they really grow up. It's like, I just, want to find something reasonably good to fuck, and then I'll see if I want to continue it from there. But for a woman, it's totally different. Most of the time, it's like completely different requirements. They want to feel safe. They want to know that they've found something of high value, and so they're much more selective. So women will swipe left nearly all, a lot more of the time, right? So when we're talking about that, I'm just looking for that top 10%. So swipe left all day, and then the men are like swiping right all the time, and it's just massively out of balance. And I just find it hilarious, to be honest, kind of seeing through it, and I can see what's happening. No wonder so many people are unhappy and can't seem to find anyone, because our standards and our values are so fucked. So for me, this is like such a revelation about why finding in life, especially through technology, is so difficult now. And let's go back to the point of exploitation and the way these apps and all this technology is rigged to keep us paying for it without necessarily achieving success, because it's all about how to make the most possible money out of us. So once we understand that, it's like, okay, it completely changes your mindset about what's really going on. And actually, like, I think to meet people now is just to actually be out there in the world and like have some purpose about you and some conviction and some belief in what you're doing, and then from that space with a good energy you'll attract people and you'll attract good situations, and you'll attract so much more of that by actually being out there in the world than stuck behind a screen. And I think that's really where a lot of people are going wrong. Men and women need to really have a look at their values Yeah. Whoa, that was nearly a really. Oh my god. Yeah, we really need to have a look at our values. And I think if we can start working together as men and women to understand what we really want and what makes a good man or a good woman in the world, because I don't think most people know what that is. You know, like if you were to ask a man, you know, I think below the age of like mid-30s, what do you bring to the table? What are you about? You know, a lot of them don't know. I think for most women, you ask them like, what do you bring to the table? What are you about? What about you is of high value? You know, like for a woman, beyond like her looks, a lot of the time they don't know the answer to that, especially young women. I think as they get older that changes, you know, if they do the work. But yeah, I think it's understanding our values and mapping them out, bring about some positive change in this area. And yeah, like I said, connecting, you know, really connecting with each other and not just doing it through screens, because like Instagram and TikTok culture is just driving us apart, you know, and it's creating these illusory spheres of, you know, what how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive other people. Even me doing this now, it's like, you know, this is like behind a screen, it's a side of you that I'm showing, but there's so much more to me that you would get to know and experience if it was actually in person. And technology can be a really good thing, but we need to really balance that out with actually connecting with each other. You know, if we want healthy, vibrant relationships, then we can't just do it all through apps. And you know, then I think we've got a chance. So yeah, I just wanted to share that today. There's just you know, a really interesting few perspectives there about men and women, and let me know what you think. I'm going to carry on here and enjoy the sun. Have a day.